Hello there viewers, Super GT again. This time I'm back with a lesson series for Forza Motorsport 4. In this series I'm going to be covering a few tips and tricks to hopefully make you guys better players. This first video is race starts, obviously quite an important part of the race. Now I can't promise this series is going to have many videos because Grid 2 comes out in 3 weeks. But hopefully I should be able to make 2 or 3 more. Okay, so the topics I'm going to be covering in this video are inside or outside line, front, middle or back starts, conservative starts, and awareness. These are the topics which I would consider to be the most important. Just finishing this clip quickly. Keeping it tidy. And we're just going to pause it there. Now you notice I went from 10th to 2nd and I wasn't really trying. That's one of the key themes of my starts, is that I don't really push, I'm not aggressive, but I get to the front. I'll be covering that a bit more later on in the video. Now when it comes to going on the inside line or the outside line, I'd say that the inside is generally safer. One of the reasons why, and you see it just there, is that if you get hit from behind you have more time to react and more space to react. So this guy gets hit in the white car, he gets hit by the Lotus. If that crash had happened on the inside, he would have had more time to react to it, as in he would have had the track width to correct it and perhaps stay on the track. But because he was on the outside, he has very little time to react before he's off the track. Now an example of that is here. I'm forced to go to the outside and I'm hit from behind there, and I've almost no time to react. If that had happened on the inside, I would have probably hit the car in front and probably stayed on the track. So being on the outside, you're straight off into the gravel or the grass, and if you're on the inside you have other cars blocking you, so you generally stay on the track. Okay, so one last example of that, Laguna Seca. I head to the inside line and then again I am hit there, but I have the width of the track to control it. The only reason I go off there is to avoid that car, but that's a good example of how being hit on the inside you still have more time to react than what you would have had on the outside. So the overall theme there is staying on the inside is less likely to result in you going off the track if you are hit. That is the point I'm trying to make. So when do you go to the outside? Well, the only time I ever go to the outside is when there is no one behind me or the people behind me are far away. In this clip I do it twice, first and second corner. Managed to get from mid-pack up to third. Okay, let's take a quick look back at that. How do I know that there's no one close behind me? Well, I have a quick look behind using the right directional pad, using the right stick. So those cars weren't particularly close to me. Another thing I do is look up the distant markers on the top left of the screen. So the car behind me is over 100 foot behind, and I normally consider that quite far behind, too far to overtake, too far to be hit, which is the main thing. So that's one of the reasons I got up to the outside, so I can take the normal racing line. Plus there's a car on the inside, there's no need going behind him if there's no threat from behind. So upon braking, I don't outbrake myself, let other people do that. I know I'm safe because the other car is not very close behind. See, don't get hit at all. And then the same happens at this second corner. Fast forward it a bit. No one was behind me, so I look behind again. So just take up the outside and then do a normal racing line. Okay then, let's cover front starts. So if you're on pole position or you're heading into the first corner alone, I would advise just taking up the normal racing line. Again, use your distance markers in the top left, or have a few looks behind using the right stick, just to make sure you know you're alone. That way you maximise the track width and you get even further ahead if you take the corners well. If you're not on pole but you're near the front, sometimes you get in a breakaway group. An example of that is here. We've broken away as a group from the rest of the pack. Now there's no need to be too greedy for positions. If there's nothing on, just hold position, you've got the rest of the race to overtake them. Okay, moving on to middle starts. This is probably where you face the most danger of being hit or having a bad accident. Your biggest dangers are being hit from behind, as almost happens here, there, and does happen there. And your other danger is cars moving sideways, normally on the front straight before you even get to the first corner. What happens is a lot of cars get side by side, people get blocked and then they move sideways and cause a crash. That's probably your biggest other threat. I'll cover that in a second. So that start you just seen, I went from about 7th or 8th and I got up into 3rd without too much fuss. Just went to the inside, didn't outbrake myself, and made sure I got through as clean as I could. Okay, so another start at Road Atlanta. This time I move up to the inside, making the most of the car's power. Don't outbrake myself. Because I have cars on my outside, I hold my inside line. Nothing stupid, just get through the first corner. You have the inside line, you have control of the corner. And then moving up to the second corner, I don't get alongside because I know that this second corner is a single file corner. There's no need to get alongside people and cause an accident. What tends to happen is people get alongside each other in areas where there's only really room for one car. That's when accidents happen, as what just happened there. Okay, we're just going to rewind it there. Have a look at that second phase of that start. So I come out of the first corner. I have a quick look behind to see where the cars are behind me. Now there's only one car. He's not that close. I'm pretty safe from him. Now moving forward, my car has enough power to move up to the left there of either the white or the orange car. But I choose to hold back. If you listen to the engine revs, I'm holding off the throttle. The reason why they crashed is because neither of them wanted to back out. Sometimes it's best just to back out, play it safe, get through the corner. Okay, let's have a look at starting at the back. Sometimes I prefer starting at the back because you can let other people have crash and not just get past all of them. A good example of that is here. I start 15th and get up into 7th just by letting other people crash. I didn't do anything spectacular there, just got to the inside, braked with room to spare, let other people crash, go past them. Quite simple. Okay, so earlier on I mentioned the danger of cars being side by side causing crashes, and this is a good example of it. I want you to watch the car circled. It's a black Jaguar and it's about to cause a big accident. As we move away, we've got a lot of cars side by side. Now at this point the Jaguar has 2 cars to its right. It's blocked off by the Alfa Romeo in front of him, so the Jaguar is sort of hemmed in. There's no way he can get out from there. He seems oblivious to the fact that there are people next to him and just turns into them. That's one of the dangers of being beside people when they come up to someone in front of them. What they're going to do is move into you. People often don't check sideways when they're overtaking, going into the first corner. I put that down to the lack of experience, maybe because in the cockpit view it's a bit harder to see. So that's what you just need to avoid, being part of their accident. Now in this case I managed to just about escape from it. I'm just going to show you one more clip to illustrate my points on back starts. So just hold back from crashing into the back of other people. You can see here I'm just holding back on the throttle, making sure I don't crash into anyone. And I managed to avoid all of this quite easily just by holding back a little bit. You'd be surprised how many crashes there are on the opening straight of Nordschleife. Just illustrates my point that a lot of cars next to each other for a long time is likely to cause an accident. So just make sure that you're not the one who is in the accident. Okay, so moving on to a few points on awareness. A few drivers stay in a lobby but don't play, which means they're not going to move off the grid. You just got to be ready for people not moving, take avoiding action. Sometimes some players stay in a lobby without playing for a few games. learn their gamer tag, learn what car they're in, so that you know in advance. Now the second point I want to make is cars rejoining the track. People tend to be very bad at rejoining the track in this game. They just go straight back on and cause crashes. Whenever someone's off the track, pay attention to where they're going. They often come back on, cause a crash. Sometimes it's best just to hold back a bit, let them come back on, and then cut back on them to get past. Okay, another point on awareness is taking a quick look behind you to see who might overtake you. So in this clip there's a Lotus Elise behind me, so I'm just expecting him to go past me as he does. I'm not going to do anything stupid, just let him overtake me. Sometimes you have to accept that some people have really good acceleration, just let them go past, don't do anything stupid. And again, as he goes off the track, just give him a lot of space. I go to the far left when he's on the far right, just to make sure I definitely don't crash into him. Okay, then that's the end of the video near enough, so let's just summarise the points. The inside line is generally the safest place to be, especially in a crowded area. But if there's no one behind you, just take up the normal racing line, go into the outside, then cut into the inside. If the first corner is busy, just hold your line. If you're on the outside, stay on the outside. If you're on the inside, stay on the inside. If you're being blocked off, just stay where you are, overtake later. Use the distance markers in the top left, or have a quick look behind you just to see where people are. And when you're the one who's behind, hold off the throttle if you anticipate that people are going to crash. Usually when they're in a big bunch, something's going to happen. Be ready for non-active players or rammers, usually in a Hummer, usually quite obvious. And anticipate people coming back onto the track. Most people are very bad at this. Just leave them plenty of space, a lot of space, or hold off and accelerate past them later. Okay guys, I'm just going to leave it there now. Thank you very much for watching. I was going to leave you with the option for 2 of my older videos. So again, thank you very much. If you enjoyed it, by all means click subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And until next time, goodbye.